Hello and welcome to another episode on Rosecast. Welcome. It's been a while. I shared the podcast here. It's been a while, like 2 weeks, but I missed sharing podcast. Like I really wished I would have given a podcast earlier than now, but it happened that today will be the day I'm giving this podcast, and this podcast is coming as the last podcast for the month of February. Before I even go in, how has your February been going? How has it been? How has it been packaging for you? I think I asked that now 3 times. Anyway, thank God for everything. Today, we're going to take a topic titled Celebrate Grace. I'm sure you've already seen it. And the inspiration for this title is coming from, a slang within the Christian community. People just see it in a way of like hailing somebody. Like they say, like, celebrate grace. I don't know if I'm saying it exactly the same way, but it's like a very light-hearted statement said within the Christian community. And the reason why people actually use this statement is to, to praise someone, to hail them. To hail someone that's actually doing something beautiful or wonderful. Now, it could be used in a positive way, and it could also be used in a derogatory way. If you're an English speaker or you are so good at English speaking, please forgive me. But it could be used in a rude manner. Like it could be used in a way that's not very respectful. It could be used in a way to disrespect or taunt somebody, not necessarily praise them. But on the other good side, some people also use in a way to hail someone when they are doing something good. But it being a slang means that people can use the way they choose. Even good words, people can turn good words and use them the way they want to use them. So this topic actually even came sometime last year, so it's like a carryover topic from 2021, and finally this is the time it's going to be shared. So what am I going to talk about this topic? Let's ride in. Now, the reason I already said in the intro talk, celebrate grace is a way of just like telling someone like, I'm celebrating the anointing in your life. I'm celebrating the grace upon your life. I'm celebrating what God is doing on your life. But like I already said in the intro talk, people use it in a light-hearted way that to an extent some people could use it in a very disrespectful manner. Anything that's like a joke, people can always turn a joke to become rude. People in the name of making jokes could actually become very disrespectful when people start making excessive joke. And then also when you making jokes, there's nothing wrong with making jokes as long as it's not disrespectful. That's from my perspective. As far as a good lighted, good light, what am I even saying? Heart lighted. I beg this English. As long as it's something that could make the heart light and make someone feel good. As long as it's not disrespecting anyone, and even if it's like making a tease of someone's maybe race or personality, it has to be something that they themselves are also comfortable with, not something that actually degrades them. I do believe that even in all this healthy context, excessive joke is not anything that's in excess is not good. So even if something is not offensive, when you make excess joke out of a normal thing, it can become offensive. So also with this term, celebrate grace. And most people often use this word after probably somebody has done something very beautiful, but probably the person has maybe fasted for long. I'm just giving examples. I'm not saying it's exact. I'm just giving examples rather. Maybe when somebody has maybe completed a tough feat of fasting for a long time, or maybe preached, or maybe the person gave an insight in the word, like they will say Rema. When somebody has preached something very deep, or when somebody has just done something that appears to be quite a spiritual feat, people around them that are close to them may use that to sort of like hail them. Now, with all this I'm saying, I'm sure I'm certain that there are people that actually would not see this term in any way light-hearted. I'm sure that people that see this term already as too much joke of what should not be joked about. But this is my own perspective, and I believe that there are people that will use that term without meaning any form of offense or disrespect. Now, people use this term to people close to them when they've done something that's like a spiritual feat, to sort of heal them and to encourage them. Now, as much as this is a very light-hearted way of like just easing out and just enjoying ourselves in our sphere, I do believe there's balance in everything. And if you are a regular on this podcast, I always like to be balanced with whatever I'm saying. And if it's something that I'm not sure about, I always make that disclaimer. If it's something that I know I'm working on, I always make that disclaimer. In fact, in general, I don't think I'm going to put myself on a pedestal that I know everything, because even for the things that I share with you, there are things I'm still growing on, and there are things that, by God's grace, with time, I'm going to build on the knowledge of what I know now. And I'm sure that in years to come, I will have a better understanding even of the things that I think I understand properly. But as much as, yes, people use this to encourage people, sometimes some people use it in such a way that they plant seeds of pride in the heart of people, and that's what I'm going to actually buttress on today. Now, when people use this kind of words, celebrate grace, rema, like they are kind of healing a person that has done something beautiful, or something that's sort of like a spiritual feat. Some people are not careful and they don't realize that they are planting seeds of pride in the heart of whoever it is that they are encouraging. Now, it is good for us to appreciate people when they've done something great in our lives. It's good when somebody has done something that like inspires us. It's good when somebody maybe may preach the word and you believe that, and you felt blessed, and that word actually really blessed you. There's nothing wrong in appreciating that person. There's nothing wrong in letting that person know that what you preached today really blessed you. There's nothing wrong about that. But the only issue is when we overdo it. That's only where the problem is coming from. Now, when we are not careful in how we appreciate people for how they bless our lives, we plant seeds of pride in their lives. Now, like I said, it's beautiful to appreciate people, and one of the need of our needs as human is to be appreciated, to feel that we are relevant, to feel that we are making an impact. Like, even if you are not someone that's carrying impact all over your head, but when you do something good, you want people to actually acknowledge that you've done something good. You want people to actually let you know that they appreciate what you have done. And when we appreciate people, it's good. But the way we appreciate people can also become very destructive to that person. The way we want to praise someone, the way we want to heal somebody, can also be destructive to them. Now, somebody that may be dealing with the issue of pride, when there becomes to be an excessive attention to the things that they are doing, to the things that God is using them to do, to the achievements they are making, when there's excessive attention and when there is an exaggerated, let's say, let me not say use the word exaggerate. When there's an escalation, yes, exaggerated. When there's an exaggerated expression of appreciation to what they are doing, we are weakening their weakness. If somebody has been dealing with the issue of pride, probably the person already has low self-esteem, and the way they're responding to that low self-esteem is to feed on how much people appreciate them. So because of that longing to feel appreciated, when they get excessive appreciation, it can build in them something that could be destructive to them, which is pride. So all of a sudden they begin to feed so much on this appreciation. Now, like I said, it's beautiful for us to appreciate people when they do something right, but especially when it comes to spiritual things, we need to be very careful. It's good that, in as much as probably somebody has said a word of knowledge that blessed us, a word of prophecy, or a word of healing. So probably someone was preaching or praying, and they gave a word of healing and you were healed, or they prayed specifically for you to be healed, or they prayed for you and you got clarity in an area of your life. You shared with them a part of your life, and they were able to get sort of like answer or direction to guide you. Sort of, they could get clarity in areas you couldn't. By joining you to pray, by encouraging you. Sort of, God just used them in a way that is has been helpful to you. As much as we want to appreciate them for what they have done, or for what God has used them to do, we also have to always realize that these people are at the position of being God's instrument. They are not God themselves. They did not do that by their own power. So when we start to appropriate to them, or we start to give them the reverence that we are supposed to give to God, we are not doing them well. So even when we're appreciating people for what they've done, we have to always place them where they are. We have to place them as instruments of God, and we don't have to put them on the pedestal that God is, or we don't have to start equating them to the position that God is. Sometimes when I read the way some people describe a man of God, a woman of God, or a person that God has been using, it's scary to me, because I'm like, wow, what other things are you going to say to God? What other words are you going to use to appreciate God? When I watch or hear the way some people acknowledge certain people, I feel like, wow, you are actually going too far. You are actually ascribing them some attributes that should be left to God, and you're putting them on a pedestal as far. They did this just by their power. They did this just by themselves. They didn't do it as inspired. They didn't do it as let's say now, an extension of God's mercy and grace. So when we go out of our way to put people on those pedestals, we're actually orchestrating their downfall. Yes, we are orchestrating their downfall. So as much as you want to appreciate the person, like, wow, God used this person greatly, we always have to return all that glory back to God. We have to always come back to the point of saying, I thank God, it's the grace of God. God has done it. Now I know that there are certain people that they actually crave for these things. They actually want people to acknowledge them in that way. They actually desire it. They actually ask for it. They actually seek it out. They seek out that form of appreciation. Now, it's still our responsibility to know that there is a way that God desires. God does not want to share his glory with anyone, and anyone that God is using in our life, they are just men. They are just human beings. They are flawed human beings. They are not perfect. They have surrendered themselves to God, and God is using them, but they are not God themselves. They are just human beings. They are people that God is using. So we always have to go back to that point of realizing that this person is a human being. As much as, yes, God has used them to do something great, as much as God has used them to bless my life, they are not God. And God is not willing to share his glory with anyone. God is willing to allow us to partake in his glory. God is willing to allow us to partake in his goodness, but God is not willing to put us in his position, because we are not there's a word I'm looking for now. We are not qualified to take God's glory. We are not. God can bait on his glory, and all of that is still to the glory of God's name, because we cannot bear the responsibility that God is bearing. And that's why the Bible says in Proverbs 16 verse 18, say, pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before fall. Now, we cannot bear the responsibility of all those things on our head, because the moment a person begins to base in the glory that people the glory that people ascribe to them, all of a sudden you realize that they start to feel they have such a power over everyone. And I tell you, it has always recorded in history, whenever there's any person, whether they believe in God or not, that begins to feel that they have power over the lives of anyone. They have the power over lives of people. They have power over the life of over the lives in a continent. They have power over the lives in many continents. You realize that most of those people are very ruthless, and they can do anything they want to do because they believe that they cannot be questioned by anybody. So we cannot handle that glory that God bears. We cannot handle the responsibility that glory comes with. Only God can handle the responsibility of that glory. So even if God, allows us to partake and to base in the privilege of being his own, we cannot take the responsibility of the glory. And in that case, we cannot ascribe God's glory to a human being. Now, down to the people that actually get appreciated. Like, it's a beautiful thing to be appreciated. Like when you sing a song in church, when you render the word of knowledge, when you render the word of prophecy, when you render the word of healing. People, it does not happen every time, but I believe it can start from somewhere. People may come out to say, oh, this brother, this sister, God used you to bless me and all that. We have a responsibility to guide our hearts. Now, even if this is not a spiritual thing, even if it's something that probably you helped somebody, you showed an act of kindness, you were there for somebody, you protected somebody, you paid their bills and all that stuff, and somebody's trying to appreciate you for that. There's nothing wrong in accepting appreciation. It's a good thing to accept appreciation and to say thank you for appreciating me, but it's still a responsibility on our part to know that we need to call it, like we need to halt it when somebody's going beyond the boundaries. When somebody's trying to then put us on a pedestal and trying to exalt us, we have the responsibility to let the person know that, no, please, that's enough. The one you've already said is okay. That's enough. And that's one of the mistakes that some men and women of God make, is that even though they don't ask for it, even though they don't seek it out, when people begin to praise them in certain ways, some of them are not quick to speak out and let them know that, please don't go that far. It's still God that is doing this. I'm not the one. Like, some of them don't come out to say, I will not say most of them, I will not say that. And some of them don't come out to say, please just take it easy. Don't go too far. Some just keep mum. While people go on and on, ascribing to them certain words and certain description that is actually really extravagant. Some keep quiet and allow those coming. And mind you, even if you did not mean for that, all these things gradually will plant a seed of pride. Will plant seeds of pride in your life. And it's only as time goes on, you realize that you have become so difficult to correct. Nobody can speak to you. You're actually feeling that you are such an authority. You can do whatever you please. And that's why some men and women of God, they fall down. That's why some go into error. Some do things that actually embarrassing morally. Some do things that actually bring I'll not use the word shame, but they bring a wrong perception about the church. They actually bring a stain. They actually do things that, even if someone is not a Christian, is a moral stain on the society, because they actually reached a point where nobody could call them, nobody could speak to them, nobody could correct them, because the way people, they have been made to feel, they've been made to feel like an authority over time. And sometimes these things happen silently, even if you did not plan it, even if you did not mean it, it's planted there. Now, you may not be a pastor, you may not be like someone having a position in church and all that. You may just be a regular person. Mind how people appreciate you, because some people's appreciation is just flatter, and they appreciate you in that way. They flatter you in that way because they know that there is something they want from you that is actually what they are looking at, and they've been seeking out from the beginning. Now, I think my heart has changed over time. I don't feel so upset by the fact that people may want to relate with you because of what they want to get from you. I do believe that everybody likes good thing. If you've not listened to Who No Like Good Thing on this platform, do go check it after this podcast. There's a podcast titled Who No Like Good Thing, and I actually talked about this concept. All of us like good things. So if people approach you because of what they believe you have to offer, I'm no longer upset about that thought, because, like I said, we don't like good things. However, we need to be very careful and cautious, because when people come because of what they are going to get from you, and they come with so much flatter, they love bomb you. Actually, I learned the word love bombing just last year. They love bomb you, they flatter you, they do all things to put you on a pedestal, so that when they actually come with the final request that they want from you, you won't be able to say no. And if you manage to say no, then they will blackmail you with all the things they have done for you. So it's also boils down that you just have to be very careful and observant and sensitive when someone seems to be overdoing it, when somebody wants to heighten everything that you do, when someone wants to heighten every good thing that you do, when someone wants to go overboard with things, especially when it's somebody that you've not even known for a very long time, someone you've known for a short time. You need to be very observant and careful and realize that this person probably may not have a very good motive for what they are doing. It just makes you to keep on check and always know where to draw the line and I thank you for your appreciation. I thank you for all you've been saying. I thank you for the nice things you've been doing. But do you have any other thing you have in mind? Or can you just stop? It's okay. Maybe if it's money, the person just wants to give you money, like, let me use the word, dash you money, or just give you money as a gift, or give you a monetary gift. So like, please pause. I think that's enough. The ones you've given me is enough. I don't want that. It's okay. Because when you are not sensitive to the way, people would approach you in this manner, you get caught all up in all they have said. And when they come for what they really want, even if it's something you cannot provide, or something that's out of your principles, out of your boundaries, you are not compelled to go out of your way to make sure that you meet their need, or you meet what they are asking for, even if it's going to really be unhealthy for you, destructive for you, really uncomfortable for you, and something that you don't agree with. But because you've already been tied down by the way they've treated you, and you've actually baked in it so much, you won't be able to say no. Now in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 12, it says we should take heed lest it fall. Like it says, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. I'm saying that from the from King James Version rather. So it just tells us that we should just be careful. Sometimes you may not know that you are becoming prideful. You may not realize that actually you're beginning to bake excessively in the way people are appreciating you. But that's why it's always good to always do a recheck of your heart. If you can do that daily, it's very good. Like for you to just recheck yourself and recheck your heart and recheck how you've pondered on things. And like I already said, it's good to be appreciated. It's a very beautiful thing to be appreciated. It's good for us to appreciate people. It's very good when someone has done something good. It's good to appreciate them. But there's always a boundary. And it's our responsibility to know how to respond to things, whether good or bad. This is a lesson I've been learning a very hard way in the few weeks and up to months. I would like to say that let me just say that this is like in these previous years of my life. But I'll say that up until recently, I've actually realized that I'm actually beginning to appreciate more that it is my responsibility to choose the way I respond to situations. And whether good or bad, it is my responsibility. Somebody may do something bad to me, somebody may upset me, but it is my responsibility to choose my response. Somebody may be good to me, somebody may be kind to me, somebody may flatter me. It is still my responsibility to choose how I respond. I can't blame anyone for my response. It's still my responsibility. I still have that choice to make sure that I respond appropriately. So it's our responsibility to know how to respond to people when they come, appreciating us, when they come celebrating us. We accept the appreciation, but at the same time, it's our responsibility to know how we let that work in our heart. Like when somebody appreciates you in a certain way, you have to pause and ask yourself, like, wait, is this person going too far? Like, how am I feeling? Am I beginning to feel like unstoppable? Like, has this made me to change the perception of myself? Like, we always have to come to that point of view. And even if you are someone that feels that, whatever people say does not bother me, I'm telling you, I've tried that before, and I don't think it worked. It didn't work for me. So let me not talk for everyone, but I realized that yes, what people say to me still had an effect. So what people said to me, I still actually pondered over them. And I'm not saying that it is always healthy. I'm not saying that whatever anybody says to you is the truth, but there are still elements of reality in what people say to you, whether good or bad. So even if what they are saying may not be true, there's nothing wrong in actually saying, okay, maybe there's something in this thing I could look into, something I could work in. And if you cannot see anything that you can work in, maybe you can work at, rather, you can just discard that thought. But if there's something what person has said you can work on, you should work on it. And if it's a compliment, if it's a good statement, yes, like, yeah, I'm so happy. Yes, I believe, like, I'm grateful for that statement. And if it is something that you already know about yourself, like if somebody tells you, oh, you're so beautiful, like, you already know you're beautiful. Oh, thank you, I appreciate. You already know you're beautiful, so that statement is not going to be something too new, but it's still your responsibility to let that statement make you start feeling like, okay, I'm now a beauty queen. Maybe I should go for a pageant. Or is your responsibility to just take it and like, oh, thank you, even though I know I'm beautiful, thank you for the word. So what I'm just trying to point at this place is that it is our responsibility to how we respond to words of appreciation. It's our responsibility to how we respond to words of flatter. And at the end of the day, it is going to be between you and God. It's your responsibility, and it is you and God that will face on how you handle things in your life. So when we begin to realize our lives, our personal responsibility in spiritual terms, in physical terms, we have a lot of role to play in these areas of our lives to help us to make very cautious decision that would glorify God, and then also will keep us on a healthy lane. So when somebody tells you, oh, my sister, your voice is beautiful, wow, your voice brought down the glory of God, please quickly say, it's all the glory to God. And as you are saying, it's mean it in your heart too. Because there's some people that say those kind of, they're used to saying those statements, but it's not coming from their heart. When somebody tell you, oh brother, that rhema you shared today was deep, it blessed me. My brother, please tell them, all glory to God. It's all glory to God. I thank God for the opportunity. I beg, don't like start becoming like too stiff and like or like block off someone's appreciation. Some people actually do that. I don't think it's reasonable. There's no need for that. There's nothing wrong in saying thank you. When people appreciate you, there's nothing wrong in saying thank you. There is nothing wrong. So yes, please say thank you when people appreciate you. It's a good thing. It takes courage. Some people actually have nice things to say, but some people feel uncomfortable. Some people they don't have the courage to come tell you. So for someone to actually come approach you to tell you, appreciate you for something that you have done, it may have taken them a lot of courage to do that. So please don't bluff them. Please say thank you. The thank you actually say to them also makes them feel appreciated. So yes, as much as you are appreciated, appreciate others. And if you feel you're not being appreciated enough, well, please still appreciate others. It's a good thing to do that. And I do believe that by God's grace, you are going to get people that will appreciate you for what you are doing. And with that being said, this brings me to the end of today's podcast, today's episode. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure having you. If you have comments to make, if you have corrections to make, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and let me know. The link attached to this podcast platform will lead you to my other creative platforms. You can contact me there. There's a contact button there. There's a contact button there, and you can subscribe to my email listing to be part of my creative process. I'll share with you very personal creative processes that I'm going through. I'm currently on a creative process of an ebook that I'll be sharing very soon. So if you want to be part of it, subscribe to the email list there. And if you are listening to this podcast probably a year after, you are still welcome to be part of my email listing group, and you can actually read through old emails, depending on when you join depending on when you join the subscription group, the mails there will be a lot. So depending on when you join, but if you join as of when this podcast is being made, it's not excessive, it's not a lot, so you can go through the previous mails that have been shared to know all the creative processes that I've been doing. And as a part of my creative process, you also get to enjoy some discounts on products, get insights on products, get to contribute personally to whatever I'm doing, and also get to be acknowledged for your participation as well. So there's a lot, and I'll be appreciative of you, especially if you are into art, if you appreciate art processes, if you enjoy creative processes, like if you are just someone that loves new things, creating things. This would be a very healthy platform for you to be in. And of course, the things I share in my mail always come with words of encouragement, words of hope, and just words of connecting. So it's not just going to be one-sided. It's a two-sided platform for us to share. And also my blog, as of when I made this podcast, I'm actually doing the O.R.A series. So if you click on that link attached to this platform, to this podcast platform, Deeper Look is the blog, and I've been doing series. And currently, as I was doing this podcast, or when I was making this podcast, I'm actually in the Deborah series. And if you are listening to this podcast a year or months afterwards, you can actually just go through the menu or search for other posts and check for the Deborah series and check for other series as well. And also on that link, there's my YouTube channel. You could also check, subscribe, and also be blessed. So there's a lot for you to be part of, and I'm sure that each and every platform that you partake in would bless you. I actually also have my art platform there. So if you are going to be interested in art and you want something creative or just want to check out, it's also there. The art button is also there for you to check out. So with that being said, if you want to contribute, do not hesitate to reach out to me. If you know me personally, do not hesitate to reach out to me as well. And there's a lot coming on, so please, I would love you to be here for the next podcast, and that's going to be on the 1st of March, and I'm going to be giving an announcement on that day. This month so far has been a very, very voluminous month for me. It has been just kind of a witty month. By God's grace, I thank God I was inducted into the Medical Council of Nigeria. So I really thank God for that big phase of my life, and I'm trusting God for the next phase of my life. I'm trusting God for where He's taking me and how much He's willing, how much of my future He's revealing to me and building in my life. So I'm so grateful to God for the opportunity. I'm grateful to God for everything. So yes, there's a lot coming up both on all my spaces. So if you're listening to the podcast and you want to be interested in all that I'm doing, like I said, the link attached to this podcast platform will lead you to the right places to be in. So yes, use the contact button to reach out to me. If you are not following any of my social media platforms, send your messages, send your comments, send your corrections. I'll be very open to them. I said I will not apologize again, but yes, I know I stuttered. I know all those things happen. Like I already said before in the previous podcast, I don't like talking for too long. I actually love to break my conversations, and that's why any episode you listen to are broken into parts. But these are things I cannot really avoid. They are part of my speech, and I'm not ashamed of it. But I just want to say, in case you are a new listener and it's bothered you, it's disturbed you, please don't be bothered. Please don't be bothered. I do believe and hope that this podcast actually blessed you. So with all that I have to say for the intro talk, until next time on Muscast, stay safe and God bless. Bye-bye.